Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We start with a story from Trinidad and Tobago. Finance Minister Colm Inbert on Monday listed 5 billion TNT dollars as the financial amount of help the government has given to citizens to deal with the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. But he has warned that, I quote, "Now we are not, as a government or a country, able to do all of this again," end of quote. What the finance ministry is able to do, Imbert said, is find money to help citizens who have lost their jobs or had their income cut because of government's COVID-19 measures get through this month. I quote, "So for persons who lost employment at the beginning of May because of the restrictions put in at that time on the hospitality industry, in particular, we will provide a grant of 1,500 TNT dollars. And for persons who may have lost their employment just in the last couple of days, we will provide a grant for 1,000 TNT dollars, and that is just for the month of May," end of quote, Imbert said during a virtual press conference. At least 20,000 people are expected to be eligible for the two grants. Imbert also announced that the government has secured a 170 million euro loan from China, a portion of which will go toward the payment of the Sinopharm vaccine. In Brazil, 3 illegal miners have been killed in a shootout that erupted after they entered an indigenous area in the Brazilian Amazon, local leaders say. The Yanomami group said armed miners on 7 boats attacked a remote community on Monday. 1 indigenous person and 4 other miners were injured. An estimated 20,000 illegal gold miners are in the Yanomami area, Brazil's largest protected indigenous reserve. The half-hour shootout happened in the Palomillo community in the Roraima state, near the border with Venezuela. About 930 people live in that area. A video that purportedly shows the incident captured the moment a boat passed by the community and gunshots were heard. About a dozen women and children who were gathered near the river were seen running for cover amid desperate shouts. The river is used by illegal miners to transport petrol and other goods to their camps. According to the local leader, the community has set up barricades to try to prevent the miners from entering their territory. Violence in the Amazon has increased under President Jair Bolsonaro. In Bahamas, the Bahamas government has denied reports on social media that a hotel employee had died after taking a vaccine for COVID-19. The Ministry of Health in a statement said it is, I quote, "aware of a circulated social media report," end of quote, that the young hotel worker had collapsed and died, and that the report had also, I quote, "suggested that the employee died as a result of taking the COVID-19 vaccine. The general public is advised that the medical history of the individual does not support the COVID-19 vaccine or any other vaccination as being the cause of death. Moreover, the investigation into the cause of death is still ongoing, and any information related to the adverse effects of the vaccine will be shared if it becomes available," end of quote, the ministry said. Bahamas has reported 10,773 cases and 212 deaths. There have been 9,781 recoveries. And internationally, Israel has launched airstrikes against militant targets in the Gaza Strip after rockets were fired from the territory towards Jerusalem. The Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza said 20 people, including children, had died in the strikes. In Jerusalem, the rocket fire caused Israel's parliament to be evacuated as sirens sounded. Tensions between Israel and Palestinians spiraled in recent days. Gaza's Hamas rulers had threatened to strike after hundreds of Palestinians were injured in clashes with Israeli police in Jerusalem on Monday. Israel said it had killed at least 3 Hamas militants. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Hamas had, I quote, "crossed a red line," end of quote, and that Israel would respond, I quote, "with great force," end of quote. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Hamas needed to end the rocket attacks immediately, adding that, quote, "all sides need to de-escalate," end of quote. On Monday, more than 300 Palestinians were wounded in confrontations with Israeli police outside a mosque. That was all for tonight's original news. Thank you for joining.